So what's going on? I said I would be back doing live videos again, something we have gotten away from since probably last fall sometime. I saw an interesting topic today in the news. Maybe you saw the headlines. One of the major retailers exceeded their profits, dividends, and what have you, and they are also going to be bringing some house-branded healthy products to market. And that's always something that's kind of interesting, in that the healthy, organic, labeled products, in this particular retailer is going to have about 600 of them out sometime this year, another couple thousand, I believe, in the next year or two coming out. Just because you slap organic does not make a product healthy. Looking at some of the products this particular brand is bringing to market later this fall, they're processed junk. You know, if you want your kids to have more fruit, give them a piece of fruit and you'll know what's in it. Don't give them a bag of dehydrated fruit. Or better yet, if they really want the dehydrated fruit or you feel they should have that, go ahead and make it yourself with a food dehydrator. When you look at the squishy packets of apples, berries, mixed fruit, or what have you, again, the better option is always going to be the actual fruit. Not to mention the fact that fruit is going to be just as portable as some of those individual packets. And if you're in a situation or you can actually grow some of your own stuff or even pick your own stuff, you actually will know what is in the food that your children or yourself are eating. The other thing is, when we look at, you know, the whole eating healthy thing, we used to see this all the time in our club. We would have a client be working really hard to try and do a 180, change their lifestyle in terms of activity, exercise, lack thereof, making better food choices. They'd start to make some progress. They'd start to learn what healthy foods are, and then pretty soon all those healthy foods would end up in the equivalent of a bucket on their desk or on the table at lunch. And that salad they were eating, even though it was really healthy and it was loaded with healthy food, would very quickly be 12 to 1,400 calories. And if you compare that to some of the more common fast food burgers, and I'm not saying the McDonald's hamburger, which is like 250 calories, but like a quarter pounder with cheese, pretty soon that salad, even though it's loaded with healthy stuff, is loaded with a lot more calories than that more popular drive-through fast food burger. So again, where I'm going with that is, just because you're eating something that's healthy does not mean it's going to be congruent or in line with your goals to be healthy, to be well, and lose some pounds and inches. It's like a couple years ago, I was working with a local coach at a high school that had actually been coaching for decades. He was good enough that he had retired more than once, and the school kept bringing him back to coach. He was a gifted individual in terms of leading students in the classroom and then athletes outside of the classroom in sport. And one day, coach had asked me, hey, can you come in and work with me on food? Give me some guidelines on what we should tell our athletes to eat. My first comment was, I don't think you're really allowed to do that. It's not the 1960s. My second comment was, if you really want to help your kids, I'll give you some advice. My advice was, focus on the whole foods, back to the healthy stuff that doesn't come out of a bag, a box, or a foil pack. He said, what does that mean? I said, well, how about whole eggs? How about some whole grain breads, English muffins, things like that. Regular butter, get rid of the margarine. Maybe even some healthy lean meat for breakfast paired with the eggs and the whole grain toast or whatever it might be. And he kind of laughed and he said, you know what, in 68 and 69, we had some of 1968, 1969, we had some of the best male track and cross country athletes, and that's actually what we were having them to eat. And I told him, I said, listen, you know, we're a few decades past that, but the human body hasn't evolved that much. That's good, healthy nutrition. Again, get your athletes away from the processed garbage that's coming in the box or the bag or the foil pack. And I get it, it's convenient, especially if you have kids, but when you look at some of the things that this major retailer is going to have on their shelves this fall, and I'm not saying they're all bad, I'm just saying maybe there's a better way. I get the convenience piece, but what's more convenient than a banana, an apple, an orange, a grapefruit, a handful of grapes? It's just as convenient as some of those fruit items. I won't even get into the boxes cereal. You know, we've got two kids, and I think I can count on one finger on one hand how many times we bought cereal, and the cereal actually went bad. So you can imagine how long that box of cereal sat in the cupboard uneaten. It's junk. A better way, eggs, oatmeal, whole grain, heavy if you pick it up and it's heavy on the shelf, breads and whatnot, toast that, put some real butter on there, maybe some cream cheese, feed that to your kids instead. Back to the healthy options. When I was doing research for Healthy, Simple, and Tasty, there's 150 recipes in there, but what was striking me as I was writing the recipes and putting the caloric information, the macro information together on the recipes was the volume, so the amount of vegetables you can eat, how few calories it is. So you can eat a lot of food and it's not a lot of calories, and then combine that with the lack of processed garbage that's added and the vitamins and minerals, and lastly the water content. These are all things that are absent in those processed foods, and I don't care if you slap organic on it or anything else. The bottom line is there's not going to be much more healthier than that. And I'm not going to get into an argument about, well, what did the farmers use or not use on the crops? I have no idea, and you have no idea. The bottom line is, when I was doing the homework to put together the calorie and macro information for Healthy, Simple, and Tasty, there's 154 recipes that over and over again, when I was looking at the data, I was like, my God, we really, A, as Americans, don't eat enough vegetables, but then also B, you can eat a lot of vegetables and it really isn't a lot of calories. And why is that important? Just right there, it means that you can maybe get more calories from your meats and fats or more of your starchy or complex carbohydrates, and then eat the vegetables and you're still going to be full. Part 2 is the vitamins and minerals, and then part 3 is that water content, which is, it's completely devoid. Like on my monitor right here, I've got a bunch of these so-called healthy products that they're launching, I believe sometime in September, and only one of them, which is a container of organic reduced fat milk, which, by the way, we're the only mammals that drink the milk of other mammals, and we're the only mammals that drink milk into adulthood. And no, we don't buy milk at our house either. But looking at the products that are here, there's no water content in them. I would say most of them, for the most part. Sure, we could probably make the case that they're healthy, but I would argue that the ingredients, I wouldn't say they're junk, but boy, I think you can make a much better case for shopping outside the grocery store, hitting the fresh vegetables, which again are going to be just as portable as those foil packs that the kids squeeze and squirt the processed food out of the container. That fruit's going to be just as portable. I think your fresh vegetables, it's going to be hard to beat in terms of quality nutrition, in terms of healthy, plus you're going to get those vitamins and minerals. And I just kind of wanted to share this with you guys and show you that, hey, you know what, maybe there's a better way, and maybe with a little bit of education, a little bit of awareness, some people can avoid being duped by what popular culture and the media is going to portray or put out there as healthy. Because I think I saw that on 2 channels this morning. I looked it up online, and there's a whole slew of articles talking about how this major retailer is going to put this house-branded healthy line of food on the shelves, and at the end of the day, it's not going to make us healthier. Ray Binkowski, thanks for tuning in. If you're looking for other great recipes, 6 ingredients or less, check out Healthy, Simple, Tasty. I'll put a link below the video. Take care.